fourth point I have here is my grace is sufficient. Here's the verse, 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ can work through me. Paul had a thorn in his flesh, and he prayed 3 times for God to take it away. And God did not take that thorn away. That's not the bumper sticker version that we want. We want God to give us certain things, or we want God to take certain things away from us. But the reality is that God's grace meets us in the middle of our problems. This one's personally difficult for me. I mean, I'll admit that. This one's actually very difficult for me. I'm not very good about boasting in my weakness. In fact, when I am weak, I get somewhat angry at myself because I think it's my fault. I should have did a better job. I know I'm supposed to lean on God's grace, but inevitably Michael still wants to pop up in the middle of it and take control of things. And it never works out very well for me, by the way. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not a good enough Christian. Maybe God's not listening to me. Why is God not taking this away from me? This is not a bumper sticker Bible verse. This is a literal way of life. God's grace is sufficient. We need to pump the brakes and revisit some of these verses. Be transformed by the way we think. Lean on God. He does have plans for us to prosper. He does have good things in mind for us. He wants to be part of our lives, but it's awful hard to do when the old world keeps putting the blinders on us. When we hear certain verses here and there in the Bible, and we want to run with a single verse and not apply it to our lives, not explore the deeper meanings. It's not about being successful or having a beautiful model wife or a rich husband or a fancy house or car. Yet to an extent, we all do copy the patterns and behaviors of this world. Why? Because we're human. We were born into this world. Sin crept in this world thousands of years ago, and it's still a part of each and every one of us. To a young believer, it might sound like a quick reassurance, but to an older person who has carried unanswered prayers, who has been through grief, who has scars, who still have the thorn in them, they realize that this is a lifeline. God's grace is sufficient for you. So if you're still dealing with something to this day, if that thorn is still in your side, perhaps we should thank God for it and try to explore and understand why. What is it that God is trying to lead us to?